Hi, I'm here, Fee Bendel on VillageTV today on Friday, and I'm joined by James Anderson from St.George Business Banking Group. James, would you like to tell us what you do at the bank?
So I run strategy and execution for SME. So my roles are quite broad, anything from having to think about how we connect with small businesses to, as an organisation, what do we need to do differently to really connect with small business, and then working really closely with the bankers to make sure we're current, make sure we're really thinking really creatively about how we can do it differently.
Now, I know when you started your career, you worked in a very entrepreneurial business with a very small business sort of attitude and go-get attitude. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and how that really kick-started your career?
Yeah, sure. I really enjoyed that period of my career. So I actually started off in sales, as most people do. I think it's a really important skill to have. But after that, I followed my passion, which was to get into marketing. And so I worked for a small business that was a startup off the back of a medium-sized company, I guess probably would be the best description. So we had 3 employees to start with. We'd bought a business for $50,000, and the whole purpose of this business was to connect with small business owners and provide them with telecommunication solutions. We had nothing. We had no products. We had no relationships. We had to build it all from scratch. So, telecommunication provider, equipment providers, contractors, technicians, and then a fulfillment solution.
So you're really right in the heart of startup land, which many of us have gone through. And what did that journey teach you? Because you went on to be very successful in that organisation.
I loved it because there was so much diversity. So probably was the most hours I've ever worked, or close to. So it was a sort of 6 to 10 job every day, and often on weekends. But I was almost marketing manager by day and a business manager the other 8 hours of the day. But it was really rewarding. I was only 22 at the time. The opportunity to launch the business into WA on my own, from strategy all the way through to execution. I really loved that period. I learned a lot about the challenges that you face in a business. I found it really rewarding because there's an element of creativity, there's an element of business acumen, and there's just an element of having to think outside the square and be put on the spot.
And like many small business owners, having to do everything, not being reliant on a whole team or structure behind you. Now, the owner of that business, was he a mentor to you? What did you take out of his understanding of owning and driving that business forward?
Absolutely. I learned a lot from his name was Julian. He was a very, very experienced executive from the telecommunications game, and had obviously started his own business. And his marketing knowledge was second to none, and he was learning elements of the business side of it at the same time as I was, which was rewarding, right? Because we were doing it together. It was a real highlight in my career. But having said that, I've had some similar opportunities since, even in the banking world. So I really enjoy the diversity. I don't like being pigeonholed into this is your job and you do X, Y, and Z, and that's what you're responsible for. It's just not what motivates me. I sort of like a broad range of challenges, and if it's got to almost feel big or too big, so that you're feeling an element of pressure and drive to get an outcome.
Fantastic. Well, that's really interesting to hear about your starting point. We're going to take a break and come back and talk about how you started in St. George and how that early motivation piece really helps you in your day-to-day activities, certainly with the small business customers in St. George Bank. So we'll be back in a few minutes talking to James about that experience. Thank you.
Thanks, Fee.